pretty standard. You're draining dual EB in this area as much as we can. 1 second. This is where the big difference is in how I want to coordinate this area happen. I want call inf, if I ask you to be the call inf, to always be right. Obviously, like, situations might happen where somebody dies and you have to just go where they're at, and that's fine. The right side shotgun inf will also always be attached to the call inf on the right side. They're basically partners here on that side. Left side inf will go with both the engineer and the medic. Both of them are heavy EB. Last season in the dojo, I pretty much overemphasized both of them EBing aggressively. And I'm gonna still do so because this middle area is extremely important for the left inf to win. So I want dual EB focus here on defense, and I want the left inf to look for opportunities to win that middle area using the dual EB pretty aggressively. I'm also going to encourage this session, for those that were here last time, a lot more like, I don't necessarily mean risk taking as in putting yourself into bad spots purposely, but like concede a little less. In this left area, we had a lot of fighters that were giving up a lot of, they're just conceding this area while dual EB, while they're, the O-inf on the left side was being dual EB'd. So I'm going to encourage a lot more of that from the left inf. You're basically going to be responsible for the one inf on this side fighting him. You should have a 2 EB advantage most of the time. I think every engineer and medic in here, I don't think anybody's new. So I'm just going to continue with the progression of what I expect from them. But just to let the new people here know, the engineer is going to be pretty heavily EBing until he sees an opportunity to either EB that side, step up and fight over there. I'm going to let them kind of do their thing in this spot. But they're also kind of responsible to rep for you a little bit if this early fight breaks out here. So you should have somebody repping for you so that you can get up and finish. That's the first thing we're looking for in that spot. When we get down to here with your medic's going to be looking to trank, kill. So you'll have backup immediately. The one thing I want to stress, if I asked you to be left side inf, and this happened a lot last session, is that if stuff happens in this game, if you're getting, somebody's getting the best of you and you're getting drained really hard, don't retreat to this area. This is a pinch situation and it's an auto death. It happens all the time in OVDs. Retreat here, because the worst thing that happens is that he tries to sweep over to that side to help them, and then you can come right back out after heal. Retreating here just puts you in a pinch between the three here. We're playing pretty much all day today. We're going to be playing against power offenses. We'll introduce flag room rushes and JT stuff later, but to get some of the fundamentals down, we're going to be going against 3 infs heavy. So you would just be pinched between them and your 1 inf here, and you're going to die most of the time. And that's a bad strat. So just don't back up into that area. That's pretty straightforward. Right side, again, same thing. Call shotgun. We're looking to focus same target as best we can. Spray area as you retreat. Get a nade here pretty consistently. Go back here. The first thing that I assign to the right shotgun inf as your number one concern is obviously finishing who's being hit with call, but also to rep for your call inf in this corner. Don't dumb rep stuff like AR that doesn't matter. That's not relevant. But if they're about to get hit by an RG, rep it. We want that call to be up for the first 6-7 streams in a row. As soon as you switch over to RG, then the call imp should look to rep for you so that you can have some clean finishes here in this right side. Obviously, anything can happen. Things change. But mainly, I just want to stress that you're repping for the call imp. That's the number one thing I'm looking for here. I don't want to get too detailed like I did in last time's explanation. If you're looking for that, go watch that video. I've posted it multiple times. I just want y'all to understand that that's your first goal if I put you at right side inf. Left side inf honestly has a whole lot more responsibilities than the right side inf, but I'm going to have everybody rotating. So if you have any questions before I move on, just PM me that really quick. I'm trying to keep it pretty simple on what I tell y'all in this explanation so that when we add more details later, it's not just an overwhelming amount of information. Also, just don't be afraid. Just because I'm asking you to rep in this spot, don't be afraid to just play the game. We've all been playing the game for a long time. If you know you can step up and finish, don't think, oh shit, he told me I have to sit here and rep. Just step up and finish. That's fine. So the last thing I'm going to go over, if there aren't any questions, I'm going to give it a second. If you have any immediate questions, is kind of how we retreat and then push out. Because it has to be organized if you want to regain this bottom area in D7, or you'll never gain hold of it. So if you have any questions, I'm going to give just a few seconds and go ahead and PM me. I feel like that's pretty straightforward, but if there's any confusion, just give you 10 seconds. All right, cool. So inevitably somebody in infantry, it's a pretty chaotic game. You're gonna take a bad death. It's gonna happen. You're gonna get outfought. It's not that big of a deal or the end of the world. But depending on where you are in the base, like if an inf has been dropped and one inf, there's so many various situations that can occur, and we'll just learn through reps basically when the best moment to retreat / try and fight that out are, when those moments are. But generally speaking, let's say the left inf just gets conversion on really hard. He gets just caught out of position. It happens. These two right here, I want to immediately look to retreat unless you've, again, clearly got an angle to like on somebody that's been EB'd by 40 times and you can just RG and finish. But in most scenarios, I want you backing into the flag room and using our reps here, waiting for the 5th person to get summoned or attach, and then repping out as 5. Way to one of the biggest run killers in OVDs, even in the draft league, I saw it, is that somebody will die there, usually like Carrot Tank. Then another person will look to fight out. Then they die. One person retreats. Carrot Tank attaches. The other person retreats out, dies. And it's just like a minute of that and your base is gone and you have to swing home. Rather than deciding to retreat, regroup as 5, and then push out. And on that push out, and again, I'll talk y'all through this when we're happy. I'm going to try to talk a little less through some of the stuff after this day so that y'all can start to apply the concepts by yourself rather than me constantly telling y'all about it. The first day I'm going to go over all of this. When you retreat as 5 and then go out, it's nearest target. That can get a little tricky if you have a target like right here and like right here. But ultimately, I just want whoever that first person gets focused, y'all all to focus, right? And rep, one person can rep if you see, all right, this person's about to open up RGs on this group of people. I'm going to rep while we finish him real quick. Usually the best way to push out, and we're going to have Dilatory here, so he's great trank game. He'll be our first medic, is just to follow the medic's tranks on push outs. I want medics to really be tranking on push outs. The GT was fantastic at that. On those push outs, just trank a target, take him down, trank the next target, and then just push him out. Any questions on that? Because I think Albert is here. I'm gonna let him do an explanation on offense. And other than that, I'm done with that. I'm not gonna go into super detail anymore outside of that. Other than when we're in the middle of a run, I'm gonna add a little bit of detail there to like some misplays and stuff like that. But I don't think we have any questions there. I'm gonna let Albert explain. I'm gonna let him unspec and explain what he wants from offense in D7. Nope. We good? You good, Albert?
Yeah.
I'm
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Albert's always good.
That's true.
So if you guys want to be good on offense, all you have to do is the exact opposite of what our user tells you to do, and you'll usually be all right.
Thanks,
All right,
Al.
that's a wrap. We'll start the run.
All right, you guys are all dojoed up. All right, so I'm a little bit of the type of mind where things happen on the fly, and it's not just like one cut dry, this is what's got to happen every time type thing. But for the most part, in D7, what you want to do is as much drain in this area as possible from, I guess, entering to here. Things you want to do is group before pushing chokes. You don't want to push like one by one, or if you only got 2 people, you got to count numbers. In this space, a big thing is this door. Have to keep this door open. And this is all shit that all will explain as we play, once we get into 5-on-5s and stuff. But if you don't have this door open, your squad leader can't assist you, can't EB. On offense, obviously squad leaders, your main job is to EB. There's shit that comes after, obviously, but EB is the main thing. So if you're flushing out the boxes, what you want to do is a diamond EB, whichever side you're on. Flush the boxes out so that you're hitting the infantries, which will assist the infantries on your team once we get down there. But yeah, so door open. I'm sure I didn't hear it, but Silly probably said he wants like 2 DMs on this side and then the other DM and engineer on that side. So for offense, we want 1 infantry to go this way, grab the door, and then the other ones go this way and push this choke against the Ka inf and the other inf. Basically, if you trap an inf in this section, this is like no man's land for a D-inf. You can kill them pretty quick by just converging on them. But on offense, you want to time your rep charges. So someone rep charges you in, you guys push down, you try to kill the closest inf to you, clear the boxes out so the heavy can set up, and then your job as an infantry is to keep the other people off your heavy. This spot right here is now referred to as a dunker spot, is what everyone's calling it. So basically, you can crossfire your infantry's over there to kill the DMs underneath the boxes. You want to just kind of drain anyone trying to push out, trying to keep them in the flag room. Once you got them in the flag room, there's lots of things you guys can do then. You can bounce nades off the bottom wall. You can try to get this angle and throw them up this way. One thing that I like to personally do is rep in, and then this is usually a dead zone. So what I mean is that if you stand right here, none of the turrets can hit you, and then you can just throw grenades around and do a pile of damage. One thing I will tell all of you is that grenades do significantly more damage to turrets than RGs. So you don't want to just come in here and stop immediately and fire RGs around. It's much more better, I don't know what word to use there, to throw grenades. They also get repped and kill people. So you can do a lot more damage with grenades. So you want to come in here. If you're in this dunker spot and you get an opportunity to stand right here and dead zone everything, just throw grenades around. You can try to kill the medic. They're usually in this corner, but depending on what the objective is, if it's not TDing out and it's kill turrets, you want to throw grenades. The defense will also try to like RG you and shit when you're stood on turrets, which also does more damage. But the main goal at the start of runs and stuff is to do as much turret damage as possible. So in here throwing grenades and letting them TK their turrets is probably the way to go. I don't know who the heavies are, or if Desi's gonna work with them, but heavies should not be scared to come down here and get an angle. Like I find in OVDs a lot of heavies are they just want to stand up here and they'd rather put 15 ACs into 2 sentries than just come down here and get the angle. Like it's so easy to shoot at turrets and stuff just by getting that bottom choke. Trust your infantries to help you. Another thing that I like as an O heavy is if you see, like, we all have massive resolutions. If you see an RT coming at you, just strafe. Literally just move to the side. You don't have to eat RTs. You can't rely on your infantries to always rep for you. We're going to be fighting. There's loads in between. Repping, and if you're shooting some, you try to rep, it might not get it. We might be out of reps, so it's much easier for you to see something that's coming from 2 cords away and just literally strafe, and then you can still shoot. You don't even got to strafe back down, or just strafe down and then continue shooting your AC. Yeah, so that's something to keep him on as a heavy. I'm sure Desi will work with you guys too. He likes eating RT, so I'll tell you all about that. But yeah, for infantries, big thing on offense is grenades, and keep them on of numbers. When you're pushing chokes and stuff, you don't want to, like, if you're here with just 2 infantries and they have 3 infantries, it's obviously not smart to push in there. You might need a refresh or whatever, but like I said, a lot of that shit's on the fly. We'll figure it out as we go. Like, there'll be lots of in-game leading, and if you guys have different areas you want to work on and stuff, we'll do that as well. Another thing that I am, like, big on is just, like, doing shit on the fly. So what I mean by that is, like, if there's 4 of us on an offense, like, you don't have to have the same person go this way every time. Like, sometimes you might be dead and you're supposed to go here, so I'll just go here. But just recognize that if one person comes to the left, the rest of you go to the right. Or if everyone's going to the right and you're the last man, well, you grab the door and you're going to the left. You don't just, if you're used to going right and the guy that goes left is now right, you go left. It's just simple. You just got to pick it up and do it. Doesn't have to be like repetitive all the time, because it might not work that way. You might have infantries, like DMs might be here and you might be able to push down through here real easy. So instead of going left, you're going right, and then the last guy can pick up your left lane. So don't be afraid to, like, do things on the fly or whatever's better for you. And again, we'll talk lots about it, like, as we're playing the game. But yeah, key points: keep the door open, split 3 and 1 as much as possible. Try to dead zone the MG if possible, and fight for your heavy. You want to clear them out. Heavies, don't be afraid to get the bottom angle. You don't have to kill 200 HP worth of sentries to get an MG. You can just go down.
Nah, you gotta kill 400 HP worth of sentries. That's the O heavy way.
So real quick, I'm gonna say after this first run, we're gonna just try and get some of the leaders in here too to kind of show some of this. Then we might try to, we'll see how this works, do 2 OVDs at once since we have so many people on, and just have different leaders for both defense and offense and see how that will work. The other thing I'm gonna say real quick is I've received a few messages already. I don't want you to over concern yourself with following. I'll tell you if I feel like you're doing something defensively really wrong. Again, I want to stress, if you see an opportunity on defense that you can kill somebody that's been doy beat, step up and take that. Don't be concerned with, well, I've got to retreat here, then I've got to play this positionally sound, I've got to play this correct. I'll definitely tell you if you're way out of position or doing something positionally very poorly, right? But don't be afraid to fight, especially if you're a left side imp. If you're a right side shotgun finisher, look to finish. Like, look to play the game. We all know how have a good feel of when we can step up and finish. Try to take advantage of that. So yeah, just always keep that in mind. Okay, let me go. You can go ahead and inspect that first defense.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead. My bad. Yeah, go ahead, Desi.
So we're just gonna keep it fairly simple for the O heavies here in D7. I mean, it's a tough base inherently. Weapons of choice, whatever you're really comfortable with. I personally have started to love the Steiner. The Steiner MG hurts a lot. It's also great at suppressing these particular hallways because it goes far, and you don't really need to aim because it sprays. If you're great with RPG, RPG is great too. But it's just whatever you're comfortable with. Obviously, you want to pair that with AC. The AC is going to kill. The AC of choice for me, at least, is the Maklov AC MK2 that shoots, I think, in sixes or
Five.
fives. The thing that's important to note is that if you are, for example, switching between MG and AC, there is an internal cooldown shared by these types of weapons, I guess. Also, if, say, for example, you shoot 2 AC and then you switch weapons and you go back to your AC, you get the remaining 3. So it doesn't reset anything. You can't reset your cooldowns there. Other than that, I would say learn the boxes here, specifically show physics. It might be a bit confusing with the yellow and orange because you may think it goes through all yellows, but it doesn't. Also, if you don't mouse, actually, I don't know, maybe it does apply to mouse, but please learn your zoom key. It's very good for identifying angles. Get familiar with the little dotted line that appears underneath your reticle and goes all the way through. That's really where you're guiding everything. It also lets you hit turrets in unconventional ways. I do agree with Albert. I think this section here is great. This section is great, and if you can, try to go from there. The only thing is, of course, they're going to have an infantry here, and then you might get TK'd. Also, you kind of have a feel, like if you feel like your OMs are outmatched in the sense in a fighting situation, and they're always getting destroyed down here, there's nothing wrong with you taking down sentries. Now, yes, ammo is wasted on sentries. The only times I wouldn't think it's wasted is if you can kill a sentry that's blocking from up here, from the safety here before your imps even hit the box. Some engineers will put it down there. You can take it out there. And probably my last tip is if you are an OF, yeah, protect the heavy, but you do nothing by standing on top of the heavy over here and just repping. All right, like I'd rather you go closer there, apply some pressure to the DMs. You serve no purpose if you are standing on top of the heavy waiting for projectiles to come to him. You can just as easily rep the projectiles away in front of him and just distract the people. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't think I'm a perfect heavy by any means, but I think we're better than most of the infantries here, especially Albert. So
I'm pretty bad.
Yeah.
One thing Desi said though that applies to infantries is your zoom keys. If you guys aren't using them, set them up and start using them. Especially for like if you're trying to line up an oh shit, I almost shot an RG. An RG at a turret from far away, it's you'll never miss. All right, so start using them even if you mouse and you're unaware, or if the AC comes out above or below or the RG comes out above or below the dotted line, just use them. You'll literally never miss. I use them all the time. I use them for like, if someone's tranked and they're like down where Desi is, I can just zoom out and my keyboard, so it's just zoom bang. I won't miss them. So you guys should get used to using those.
Also, if you feel like your rotation ramp up is a little too low and you want to hit someone far away, you can use the zoom, and then that slows down your turn rate. I zoom a lot when I RPG when I know that even a slight movement to the right or left will make me miss the target. Just try to get comfortable with it. Really, for now, I would just use it to make sure that you don't miss any ammo, any shots.
Okay. I think we're gonna be ready for the first lineup. I'm gonna split up defense here. Jesus, there are a lot of people. Yeah, I think we'll definitely have enough for a dual like run on the next one if we can do that. Actually, if you're on offense, you can go ahead and just head up to the Dojo O channel.